Welcome back to another episode of the That's Rank podcast, the podcast where we rank your ideas on the fly. My name is Liam.
And my name is Rob.
Hello, Rob. How are you this fine evening?
Well, Liam, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. Cleansed. I'm feeling cleansed.
That's good. After cleansed from what?
I'd kind of put I'd kind of answered the question about thinking about why I'm cleansed, but I'm just feeling cleansed. I think there's been some spiritual awakening, and I'm yet to find out what the spiritual awakening is. But it's like there's like a box, a wrapped box, and I'm going to unpack it, and then I'm going to be find salvation inside. I'm pretty sure this time. This time it's for real. I'm pretty sure.
Look, fingers crossed for you, man. Hopefully that all works out for you. All the best journeys start with a single unwrapped present. That is for sure. Now,
that's true.
That's Rank Podcast. Here we are once again. As you can see, it's just the lads tonight. That's okay, but that's okay. We've got something lovely planned for you, as we always do. You can listen to us as always. Spotify, Amazon, Apple. You can watch us right here on the YouTubes, and we say on the fly. We get your ideas and we chuck them on this wheel. Wait, on Anchor too? Sure, we can do Anchor. Why not? I think Anchor's where we put stuff, where we put our pods on and they distribute it to the world.
Yes, and now you're holding up a wheel.
I am. Oh boy! So, little inside baseball. We're having some great technical difficulties, as we seem to always do here with this Australian bloody internet. What was that? 11 seconds our delay. You won't notice this when I edit this back around. No one will. It'll be you guys will be none the wiser. But I tell you what, it makes making a podcast a right old challenge. But I am holding a wheel. You are correct.
Absolutely.
This is where your ideas go. We chuck it on this wheel. We spin it. We get an idea, and then we rank it on the fly. Rob, where can people give us those ideas? Please tell the lovely people at home.
You can find us That's Rank Pod at Gmail, on the YouTube,
yep,
on the Instagram. Mm-hmm. It's just That's Rank Pod.
That's right.
That's Rank Pod.
Yep.
Send us
That's Rank
right
Pod.
In at That's Rank Pod. At That's Rank Pod. At That's Rank Pod, or That's Rank Pod at gmail.com.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So whatever.
Hit us up.
The ats are sometimes at the front, the ats are sometimes at the back, wherever it fits, it's just, that's where you'll find us.
That's perfect. That is perfect. Where do you like your ats, Rob?
I like them at the front and at the back, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I love that. Swinging both ways. Swinging for the fences. Love to see it. So now, normally, this is a battle to the death. Thanks for the thumbs up, Rob. Normally, it's a battle to the death with three of us here. But tonight, just the lads. So we're going to have to mix it up a little bit. I'm still going to spin this wheel.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rob actually has no idea what I have planned for this evening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by spinning the lovely wheel. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get our topic for this evening. Rob, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be, Liam.
It spins. It spins around. Oh! Nearly got back to number one, but that is number 24. 24. Let me consult the list. All right. He's going to be a happy man. My father has given us this idea, and he gave us this idea right back when we actually started this podcast, Lord knows, 2 years ago. When we first brought the wheel in, he gave us this idea, and it's an idea that my dad could only give because it's just, it's one of those ideas that it has so much potential, but on the surface, it doesn't seem like much. He would like us to rank the best cereal. The best cereal. It's a classic dad answer. The best cereal.
The best cereal. Wow.
Oh, are you a breakfast eater? Do you eat cereal for brekky?
No, I eat pieces of shit for breakfast then. No, I do. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
You eat shit for breakfast?
Well, it's a cereal. I feel like the cereal is a thing from childhood. And I'm assuming it's still a thing for kids these days because there's still a cereal aisle. But, when you've obviously got
Sure.
a family and you're trying to feed kids, breakfast in the morning would be the hardest part. Like when you're getting those kids to school, my God, I can barely get myself to work. Like it's a struggle every day. And parents get
I
up
feel
and
that.
not
Yeah.
only feed themselves, but they feed other little people. They pack their bags, they transport them to school, and then they come to work. Outstanding. Shout out to parents, all parents, shout out. But cereal, I think, is really perfectly designed for that. So I don't know if cereal still is being used frequently, because when we were kids, Liam, sugar was harmless. Sugar was totally harmless. In fact, sugar was part of the
Ain't nothing did you bad.
pyramid.
Ain't nothing did you bad. No.
It was the pyramid.
I used to have
it was the
a
top of
bowl
the
of crunchy
triangle.
nut and a cigarette for breakfast. Cup of coffee. That's what you could do in the 80s and 90s. There's no problem.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly right. We didn't have milk. We used Baileys.
Yeah, on the doctor's recommendation.
Absolutely.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get that boy some calcium.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't have sugar in my Weet Bix. I'd have just chopped up caffeine tablets.
Straight cocaine.
Straight cocaine. No. Yeah, cocaine for breakfast, heroin in the afternoon.
Yeah. That's right. That's the balanced diet of the 80s. They don't. When did that change? I remember going to school and learning lots. Now it's all like, niacin, B1, B2. Nope, those are the bananas in pajamas. Those are not vitamins, I don't believe. I could be wrong there.
Don't know.
I could be wrong.
Don't know.
You don't know B1, B2?
Well, I know the bananas in pajamas, but I don't know how rice.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't remember that song.
Not rice. Nice.
Oh, what is it? Niacin? Is that what you're saying?
I think it's niacin. I don't know. I just remember those ads from back in the day. It's just like, has all your essential vitamins and minerals, B1, B12, niacin, arsenic, all the things you need for a balanced daily breakfast.
Lead.
Asbestos. Get some of that. A spoonful of asbestos in the morning gets you going.
Just a spoonful of asbestos.
Oh man,
it is wild though. Like,
that's it.
We'll get to it. We'll get to we'll as we rank. We'll get to all the various cereals, because some of them were out of control in the 80s. Out of control.
They were. That's true. Now, I must admit, when you said this for kids before, I think nowadays I actually kind of get a bit of a nostalgia run when I get a cereal, and I'll normally have it at the most random. Like, I'll have it for dinner. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll get a box of, like, I don't know, let's just say Crunchy Nut cornflakes, and it'll be 9:30 p.m. and I'll just be like, you know what, bit of Crunchy Nut right here, put it in my mouth. I want some right now. And it's more so for me, like, you get it for the breakfast, you never have it at breakfast. It's just the nostalgia of going back, because you're right. I think as you get older, and we are speaking, by the way, purely for us too. If you like your cereals in the morning, please let us know, and let us know which ones you'd like to have. Chuck in the comments. Tell us we're fools. Tell us we're fools for not eating breakfast in the morning, or cereal in the morning, as it were.
I eat breakfast,
but nowadays, you're a breakfast man.
I do eat. Well, I've waxed and waned. I'm currently a breakfast man. I've gone for stages where I haven't had breakfast. Where, like everybody, we've all tried a hand at intermittent fasting. We've all, we've all tried. We've all experimented as you're trying to get through the years, because a lot of meals are really dysfunctional. They're dysfunctional, like breakfast and lunch in particular. Like, to do that every single day, it's laborious. You want something easy, but so sometimes I've waxed and waned. But I'm currently on a decent breakfast regime, which I consider to be
very good,
reasonably healthy, which isn't a cereal.
What is it? What do you have? A smoothie? A cheeky smoothie?
I'm going to shout out to James Panakis and Andrew Gibbs for this recommendation. So I get steel cut oats. And the night before, I put some steel cut oats, a third of a cup, with a cup of boiling water. I chuck some cinnamon and some chia seeds, and I boil it. And once it's boiled, I take it off the heat, put the lid on, and I let it sit overnight.
Okay.
It kind of cooks itself overnight in the hot water, and then in the morning you just reheat, and I eat that normally with like a bit of banana or a bit of apple, and
Of course. Yeah.
some LSA, linseed
LCMs.
LCMs, some LCMs. So LSA, there's linseed, sesame, and almond. Is that what it is?
Nice.
And
Nice.
then
I don't know.
some what else did I put in there? Flaxseed. I put some flaxseed, and I put some low fat yogurt.
See, that's an adult breakfast. That's what adults should be eating for breakfast, right? I have a very similar thing: oats and fruits. I'm lucky though, because look, I'm very lucky. My lovely mother sometimes comes and picks me up for work. She swings by. We go in the same direction. She'll come and get me, and she'll make a very similar thing: oats, fruits, a little bit of honey, a little bit of maple syrup. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Overnight oats.
Yeah, it goes all right. Overnight oats. That's right. That's right.
That's
Well, by the way, what's steel cut oats? I feel like that's some sort of marketing technique just to make you buy them because it sounds cool. Sounds like a manly oat.
Let's process.
I've got me some steel cut oats. Yeah.
It's like the scene from Rocky 3 when he goes to Russia to train, and he's just lifting the big tire, and he's just running through the snow with logs on his arms.
Yeah,
that's basically what steel cuts. So they're the Rocky of breakfasts. The Rocky 3 of breakfasts.
Who's Thunderlips in that situation? It's healthy. Yeah, it's healthy.
Yeah.
As we know, anything healthy is delicious always.
Absolutely, and it's not bad once you get into the routine of it. And it's all down to James Panakis. So shout out to him.
On you, James. What a man. What a man. What a man. What a man. What a mighty good man. Now,
good man.
Tonight, mighty good man. Now, before we started, we both agreed we've had pretty tough weeks work-wise, right? So we were coming into tonight a little bit trepidatious about how we're going to potentially rank. So I'm going to take it out of our hands tonight, somewhat.
Oh.
Normally we have the 5 minutes and we argue about whichever cereal we think is going to be the best, and we can do that kind of stuff. But tonight, Rob, we are going to come up with a tier list together. I have in front of me, and I have found this right now. There's the list of cereals, Australian cereals, that we are going to debate as to where they fit into a particular tier list. I'm going to bring it up on the screen now so you can also see it. And so can our friends at home. Oh, wait a second. I'm going to have to do a little cheeky cut here while I put it on the correct page. 1 second. Okay, here we go. We are back, and I've got it now working on the screen. Oh, now, Rob, have you seen one of these tier lists before?
Yes, actually, I have. People have been referring lately to the S tier. Is that where this comes from?
That is what this comes from. That's correct. Now, this one's named it a little bit different. We got the GOAT tier, which is kind of the S tier. We got great, we got good, not so good, and utter trash. Now, utter trash is obviously going to be the worst, and the goated cereals will be on the top. So what we're going to do, rather than battle each other to the death like we usually do, we're going to go through this list. We're going to discuss why and where they should fit on this tier list. Now, I listened to I watch a YouTube channel called Cultaholic. It's a wrestling YouTube channel for anyone who likes wrestling. Jump onto Cultaholic. And I like there's a guy on there called what's his name? It's not Ross. It is Ross. It's Ross, yeah. And Ross always calls this, when they do this, they go, we're going to be Gary YouTubing today. We are Gary YouTube, and you are also Gary YouTube, because everybody on YouTube tends to do these here tier lists. But that's okay. We haven't done one before. So we're going to jump into it now. We're going to do one.
But we have to, because you know why? You know why then?
Mm-hmm. Why's that? Because
people can find us on YouTube at That's Prank Pod.
That's right.
At the YouTube. Out of the front, baby. Out of the front.
You put the out of the back on YouTube and you're getting nowhere. You're getting something you don't want to see. Just be warned. All right. So we're going to start from the top. We're going to start with the top. And the first one off the list is everyone's favorite, All Bran.
All Bran.
All Bran. Now, to me, growing up, all bran was the one that the old people used to eat to get their bowels moving and get the digestion skill going.
Yep.
Have you ever had all bran?
Yep. I don't recall. But I must have had it at some point. I think I must have had it at like a school camp or something. Because like I can visualize it, but I can't really recall.
They would not have served this at school camp. Absolutely not a chance in God's green earth would they serve all bran to a bunch of kids.
There was a few kids that needed to, be a bit more regular. Let's just say that.
That's true.
So maybe
it's a good point, well raised. I must admit. Now, I have had all bran. I'm fairly certain you would remember if you had all bran, because this is the way I remember the taste of all bran. Like it was kind of like cardboard, and it was kind of like
paper mache.
Paper mache. They taste like what I imagine. Those little pellets you put into like guinea pig enclosures. That's what I imagine those taste like. That's what I imagine those taste like. It was just.
That's what I imagine it tastes like too.
One of the worst cereals in history, in my opinion. It served a purpose rather than being actually that good or good in any capacity. Like it wasn't made for goodness. It was made for shit, literally shit.
Yeah, when you're a child, this is one of the earliest lessons that things that are good for you often aren't very attractive or interesting or taste good.
That's true.
This is where it starts. It starts. You're like, pizza? What's pizza? This must be good for me. And they're like, no. And you're like, what is good for me? And they give you all bran. You're like, that sets you up for the rest of your life.
It's like pizza every day. I should have learned from the get-go. No, I actually don't think there's too much to say about all bran. Straight to goat tier, right?
Straight to goat, right to the top. That's right.
barrel, trash. Absolute gutter trash. All bran is going in the bin. Trash.
If I was legitimately given, if I legitimately had to eat a cereal for the rest of my life, it still wouldn't. And I had to weigh up the health consequence. I had to say, well, if I have to pick one cereal and only one cereal, obviously you go. Some of the ones we'll get to are very appealing, but you know that if you had it every day, you'd be dead in 2 years, and you'd be feeling pretty rubbish most of the day. You'd have a sugar crash at 9 a.m. Yeah. So you'd go all bran, maybe, but still, even then, you'd be like, no.
I know. I'd actually rather stuff. To be honest with you, I'd rather just die. I'd rather just not eat it. If that's the only thing on option, I think I would rather just eat my own hat. But that's me. If you're an all bran stand, let us know.
Of old hats. It's made of old hats, actually.
Which should we bump it up a little bit for recycling? That's good for the environment.
No, it's down in trash.
Okay, it's trash. It's trash. What about the next one? Let's move on from all bran to a classic, an absolute classic of Australian childhood, and it's still a classic to this day. Rob, the Cocoa Pops. The Cocoa Pops. What are you going to say about the Cocoa Pops?
In that, if I was to look ahead and see a pajama day on my calendar, and I was to prepare for said pajama day, and I was to say, what's Rob going to do for himself on pajama day to really nestle into a good solid day of watching a series or something like that? There is a possibility, and this hasn't happened for many years, but there is a possibility that my pajama day treat will be to go down to the shops and get a box of Cocoa Pops.
Big old box of Cocoa Pops.
Because still to this day, I think it's the goat. I think it's the goat.
He's calling goat tier straight away off the bat. Well, let's
Pops.
Well, let's debate this a little bit. Because for me, like Cocoa Pops is one of the most delightful cereals. And by the way, this is not going to be a debate. We know exactly where Cocoa Pops is going. But do you know what the one thing about Cocoa Pops is just it was always their gimmick. It was always their gimmick, but it was always the best part of it every single time. And that is that it would turn your milk into choc milk. It was the best thing. It was the best thing in the world. Like, what kid or even what adult does not want that? Hey, this boring milk you've got here, let's put these Cocoa Puffs in. They're delicious. Eat those. Or it's that tasty treat afterwards. You get yourself a chocky milk. Thank you very much.
You got yourself a chalky milk. It's like
Oh,
it's like as close as we've ever come to a real Willy Wonka invention is the Cocoa
that's
Pops.
true. That's true. Oh, oh man, I must admit, it's going in the goat tier. It's going up the top, absolutely. Now, I do kind of like. I've never thought about this on one of those days where you just can't be flipped going to work. You can't be bothered. You're feeling under the weather. You need a couch day. I've never thought about Cocoa Pops in that way before, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God. And do you know what else I'm getting? I'm getting myself a punnet of vanilla ice cream as well, because crushed Cocoa Pops on some on vanilla ice cream. And guess what?
Oh my God, I never had that.
Oh yeah, and then afterwards, chocolate ice cream. So,
oh my God,
just like a
vanilla ice
chocolate
cream
milkshake, only
Cocoa
crunchy.
Pops. That's actually incredible.
Oh, thank you. It's but the advertising was fantastic too. Like there's going to be a few on here where you're going to remember the advertising. Just like a coconut, just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy. What a slogan!
Just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy. And was it just pop? Was it just pop? You know, you used to have snap, crackle, and pop. Was it just pop on the Cocoa Pops?
No, it was a monkey.
It was a monkey.
It was a monkey.
That's
it was
right.
It was a cheeky little monkey. Now, I was about to spoil it because I didn't think it was on the list, but it is on the list, and we'll come to it later on. But Cocoa Pop's definitely up in the goated tier. We move on.
Okay.
We move on. Unless you have anything else to say about the delightful Cocoa Poof.
No, we've got off to a strong start. We've got the goat and we've got the trash.
Yeah.
What's going to be next?
When I see these lists, it's always like people are hesitant to put things into the trash because, like, oh, no, all brands straight in the bin. Okay, here we go.
All bland.
Yes.
Boar brand.
Cocoa Greats. Got him. All right. So next off the rank as I knock my desk all over the place. Oh, everything is wobbly. Let's just calm everything down here. Cornflakes, Rob. Cornflakes.
Look, yeah, cornflakes. Honestly, this is the school camp cereal. This is the one that they give you.
Oh, yes. 100%. Yeah. Without question.
You know, those little... Because, you know, the good barometer to this, you know how they used to get those 6-pack multi-packs with 6 different cereals?
Yes.
It was always like the Cocoa Pops would go first, or one of those ones. Like
always.
This was I'm trying to think. So there probably would be what would be in there? There'd be
Cocoa
Pops,
Cocoa Pops,
Fruity Loops.
I think there'd be a Fruit Loops in there. There'd be a cornflakes. There'd be a rice bubble. There might be a Nutrigrain, maybe.
A Nutrigrain. There definitely would be a Nutrigrain.
Potentially a Frosties as well, which are all ones we're going to get to in just a moment. But,
Frosties there, yeah. So so in that list, the Cocoa Pops would be pretty low, to be honest. But yet, it was kind of a common thing. It was kind of like it was really just like the staple. It was like the maths. It was like maths. Everyone's got like a maths they go home to watch when they really don't want to think about that much. That was what cornflakes was. Like, you'd just be like, I don't really want to think about what I'm going to get this week for breakfast, so I'm just going to get a box of cornflakes. Now,
plain cornflakes, yay or nay?
But I reckon it's in the middle. It's good. I reckon it's good. Good. I eat cornflakes.
Yeah, cornflakes. I think good's a good place to put it, because you do need sometimes an accompaniment of sorts to take it to that next level. Like, you need a little bit of honey, a little bit of banana, a little bit of strawberries. But by itself, cornflakes by themselves weren't terrible. But I found it came down to the milk that you used. Like, if you had a good milk, they were really good.
Yeah.
If you had like a shitty milk,
and let's face it, Liam. Like so many of these cereals, cornflakes holds up for about 10 spoonfuls, 5 to 10 spoonfuls. And then it starts to fall apart very quickly.
Yeah.
Quite literally fall apart as well. And that was its downside, Strong
corn
start.
Mush. Yeah. Strong start.
Corn mush.
Weak finish. But I think that's a good, that's a good we've got a good barometer here. I think we've got a very good barometer. You
Yeah,
got the best. You
we
got
do.
something that's kind of it's okay, but then you have
It's
all
okay.
bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
What's next?
Not much more to say. Not much more to say about cornflakes, though. It's not something. It's not a conversation starter.
No.
It's not a conversation starter. It's cornflakes.
No, it doesn't. No, it really isn't.
No,
It really isn't. But yeah, we can all bond over it.
Oh,
We've
we
all
all
been
can,
there.
of course. You know, the cornflakes is the cereal you have in conversations, so that you're forced to have good conversations because you can't talk about the cornflakes.
Mm.
What we can talk
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
though is crunchy nut, goddamn flakes, crunchy nut cornflakes. What are they called? Crunchy nuts. This is called crunchy nuts. What are your
I don't
thoughts on
remember
the
crunchy nuts. I remember crunchy nut cornflakes.
Oh, it's the same thing. They just renamed it to something shorter because we've all got short attention spans.
Okay. Good.
Same thing. Same thing.
Okay. Gotcha.
What are your thoughts on it?
This is pretty good for me, because the thing about crunchy nut cornflakes is if Cocoa Pops make your chocolate milk, it make your milk to chocolate milk.
Mhm.
The crunchy nut would give you like a honey milk. Like there'd be this honey flavoring that would go through the milk. Then it's one of the few cereals that actually kind of got a bit better in time.
Oh, I agree.
Like even
I
though
agree.
you lost the texture. Yeah. There's something about it was like a bolognese. Like it just got longer. It left it like the flavors kind of seeped together, and it just got better and better. You know.
Mm-hmm. 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 I call it
overnight. Did you ever have overnight crunchy nut cornflakes? No, I'm only joking.
No. Hey, look, let's start it. Let's do it. Let's get some crunchy nut cornflakes. We're just going to sit them in milk overnight in the fridge. Let's be hygienic about it. We're going to come back the next day and we're going to have it, and we're going to start a new trend. We're going to call it the overnight crunchy nuts, and that's what people call us for trying to do such a thing. But I think crunchy nut for me it's like the crack of cereals. Like you cannot stop eating it. Like it is that good that you need to. I used to go back for seconds and thirds before school because it was just that good. The only downside I can think of for the crunchy nut is because it was so sugary that I felt like it started to kind of remove the inside of your mouth lining after bowl four though, no less. Started to
it would do. You'd be one hell of a crash. It's amazing that we weren't all on coffee. Like we would have all rocked up to school and just sugar crash straight away.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like they should set up a little barista stand at Kindy. You know, there'd be big demand for it. We'd all just be sitting there dozing off after our 4 bowls of crunchy nut. Like, I could do with a bloody piccolo right now. Oh.
And would that be a baby chino for the young one? No. Double espresso, double shot. Needs it. Look at him, crashing. Yeah. Get some caffeine to that kid
long Mac.
Immediately.
Yeah. I want a long Mac topped up with crunchy nut cornflakes, please.
Oh, God, that sounds great too. Oh, my word. All right. So where are we going with it?
This is teetering between good to go. It's good to go. It's good to go to me. I'm feeling like it deserves some credit for being like a strong finisher.
I think I'm leaning towards goat tier. I'm not going to lie. I'm leaning towards goat tier.
Yep. Well, I'm on the precipice. So you'd definitely you'd push it over.
If you're on the precipice, then we'll put it below Cocoa Pops on the list. So it's in goat tier, but not as goated as the Cocoa Pips.
Okay, gotcha.
Have we come to an accord?
We have.
Lovely.
There is an accord.
Let's move on. Mini wheats. Do you remember these little bad boys? Mini wheats.
Oh, I don't think I've ever had a bowl of mini wheats. If I did, it was reluctantly.
Wow. Okay, we're going to have our first. We're going to have our first one where we might get a little bit disagreement on. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, they've got a little bit of jam in the middle, don't they?
They do. Yeah. So, some of them did. I remember I was trolled one time as a child when I got just the pure wheat mini wheat. I have never been more angry at my family member for giving that to me than I had with anything else my entire life. And the reason being is because the other ones with the little jam centers were so good. Like you had the wheat, and then you had the little chewy bit in the middle, which had all the flavor in it, which was
Yep.
delightful. It
Yep.
was delightful.
I can see how it does work.
Yeah, and imagine if there
I can
was
see
no
the
jelly
principle
filling.
behind it. I can see.
Imagine.
Mm, oh,
I was scarred.
that's disgusting. That's child abuse.
I was scarred for life that day. I'm not going to lie to you. I was scarred for life.
Yeah.
The worst thing.
Well, now this is my only thing.
Okay.
I was always intimidated by the size of the chunk of the mini wheat because it's a big boy sitting in the bowl, and it's almost like instead of having spoonfuls, like you put the spoon in, and it's like putting the spoon into, I don't know, like this is big chunks of it, you know, like you might pull one out or two out, and then the others fall off. Like there's like,
yeah,
it just didn't quite fit the bowl so well. Like I would be down for like a wheat roll up type scenario where like I'm eating the wheat roll up. But this was like you've chopped up a bigger snack into a bowl and you've tried to pass it off as a cereal.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what you mean. Like, because back when I was young, man, like those mini wheats were hefty. They were big boys. And then like nowadays, I think they're like mini. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just downsize them like crazy. They're mini wheats.
Yeah,
but
slowly,
I know what you mean.
surely.
Yeah,
they were bought up by the company that bought up by Domino's. So over the years, it's just gotten smaller and smaller
and more expensive. God damn it! Then I used to remember the mini wheats. I used to try and balance 3 on the spoon, and that was kind of like my thing. Normally one would fall off, and I'd have to settle for 2, and I'd be like, fine, I'll have it. But it was always a challenge trying to get the third one in the gob. Yes, please.
Yeah,
give it to me. All right. Okay. So I'm pro mini wheat. You're kind of meh mini wheat.
Yeah, I'm pretty meh. So where are you going to put? But you can talk me into it because I can see its value. I can see that maybe it just never had a chance with me, and it probably just deserved one. Probably deserved more of a chance.
Well, I mean, that's going to be tricky for me to convince because, like, it's for me, it kind of tacks into the nostalgia thing again for me because I remember eating this as a kid, and I used to like seek this out. Like when we're going shopping with mum, I'd be like, I want to get some mini wheats. Love the mini wheats. I think the black currant one was my favorite, or the strawberry one. I can't remember which one it was, but I used to just really, I used to love them. I used to love them. Like no Cocoa Pops, no Crunchy Nut. I would put them in the great tier. That's where I would put them. But I can also see like they also went super soggy really quick. You were talking about cornflakes before. We had like a few minutes. I reckon.
Yep.
Mini wheats in the bowl, and within a minute, all you were doing was fishing out like sludge and jam centers. That's pretty much all you were doing. So I can see why they could push it down a little bit.
Would you accept a good ranking? Because if you really want to stake the great, I'll give you the great, but I'd probably push for the good myself.
I'm happy to put it at the upper end of good.
Okay, upper end of good. There we go.
Above cornflakes, because it has to go above cornflakes because you don't need any extra accoutrements for the mini wheat.
Yeah.
You can just have it as it is,
unless
it's the wheat mini wheat. And once again, do not subject your children to wheat only mini wheats, you heathens. Don't do it. Okay. We're on to our first sugary delight. Well, not really, but like really sugary. And that is
This is the godfather of sugary cereal.
the Fruit Loop. Oh my word. Now, Rob, we've had the cocoa milk. We've had the honey milk. Now, would you like a little bit of rainbow milk that tastes like fucking everything all together all at once?
Yeah, it was always it's the KFC of cereals. Like seemed like such a good idea at the time, and then as you're eating it, you start to realize not as good as you thought it was going to be.
Not.
And then afterwards, you kind of regret it. You actually regret it. I just think like there was. It seems like a good idea, but it just the way that sugar just floated on the top of the milk. You know, it was just pretty. It was pretty gross. Pretty gross. And then once that happened, then you were just left with the loop itself, and it wasn't fruity at all. It was just like it all kind of tasted the same, you know. And
I think out of all the ones so far, this is the first one that's been like the noticeable artificial taste to the actual cereal itself. It's the first one out of the rest of them. Cocoa Puffs taste like I keep calling them Cocoa Pups. They are not called that. Cocoa Pops. And the Crunchy Nut Cornflakes don't have that artificial thing to it. Fruit Loops definitely do.
Definitely do.
Yeah.
This is I'm prepared to give it, because there is still an appeal to it. There is still an appeal to the Fruity Loops. And if you were to put Old Brand in front of me and Fruity Loops, I'd put it in the not so good, because I don't think it's trash, because if offered a bowl, I'd probably actually eat it still, even though I knew it was against medical advice.
That's true. I wouldn't eat it. I don't think I would eat it.
You wouldn't eat it? So
No,
you want to push for trash?
I think I've had. I would push for trash, but if you're leading up to the not so good, I think
I'm happy to go trash. Right. Honestly, like if you put I think there's a childhood nostalgia with Fruity Loops, which makes me think it's better than it is.
And do you know how I think about it? And do you know how I know? Do you know I know there's a childhood nostalgia is because you keep calling them Fruity Loops, which is adorable. It's so adorable.
I'm only now just realised that's not what they're called. That's probably just what I called them as a kid.
Exactly right. Exactly right. I reckon I've had Fruity Loops about like twice in my entire life, though. Like that's it.
Really?
Like, I don't reckon.
I think the
two times I've had it, and I'm sure you did. I think that's the thing, though. If you're a kid and you're like no to that sugar, you're doing something wrong. But I think it seems like you've got a little bit of nostalgia to it, and because
I do, yeah. I want to push to not so good. I want to push it to. I want to put it in the middle there. Okay. I want to give it a little bit of credit.
As a kid, done, Fruit Loops. You've gone from the trash to not so good.
It's a promotion.
It's a promotion. Yeah, if nothing else. Now, I know that one's going to draw a lot of ire. I think that out of all that we put everything in this tier list, I reckon that one's going to draw the most ire for sure. Now, these ones, I think these ones I believe are the Carmen's Clusters, which is more of a modern day kind of cereal. I don't believe we had the Carmen's Clusters as a youngster.
No, this is the Crunchy Nut for adults, isn't it?
Yes, it is, sir. Thank you for saying that. That's exactly what I was going to say. Spot on.
It's pretty bad for you.
What?
But it's kind of meant to be like the better thing. I think it's wildly overrated. Every time I've got Carmen's Clusters, I've always thought it looked good, and then I've bought it, and I've never really been sold on the clusters. But I'm not much of a music guy.
I'm big into the clusters. Here's my problem with the cluster: is that they are jagged little pills. They cut your mouth up like crazy because of all the clusters all have little oats bits sticking out the side. And every time I have, and they're big old clusters as well. They're huge, and so every time you bite into them, I'm just like, delicious, and then cuts just everywhere, and then you've got yourself a nice little grazed inside mouth, which is not fun for anybody.
Just imagine, like, so Cocoa Pops like turns the milk into chocolate milk, and then Crunchy Nut turns it into honey milk. Fruit Loops just turns it into a gross sugary milk. Like you're eating the clusters, and you look down, and it's like blood milk. Just been bleeding into the bowl. Oh, it's delicious. This is the best thing ever. So healthy for me. The antioxidants going straight into my bloodstream.
You start drinking the milk. Look at this iron. It comes with iron as well. Delicious. Get it in me. Oh, man. But I must admit, though, your shout on it being the adult version of the Crunchy Nut is apt. It's very spot on. Because I still get that now when I want a little bit of a treat. I actually go for the Carmen's Clusters. I won't lie.
You go for the Carmen's?
I do like myself a little bit of it. I go for the Carmen's. It wouldn't be goat, though. It wouldn't be goat. I would be erring towards the great side. How about you?
Okay. Well, look, It's not for me.
Okay.
But I do recognise the value. I do recognise the popularity as well. I'll give it the popularity points. And my thing with it is, as an adult, I think of the adult. Like if I was to just narrow this down to adult cereals, like for me, top is overnight oats. And then I've probably got like a warm oatmeal or a warm porridge type scenario. Then at the bottom is your cold muesli, and the clusters are kind of like they're in there. They're in that bottom section, but they are, with the right balance of fruits and yogurts, they're not bad. I just never feel that satisfied after clusters and yogurt in the morning. I just don't feel satisfied. But I'm happy to give it great, because I think it is better than. I think I would put them above cornflakes, and I'll put them above the mini wheats, and I would put them below So I think they fit there pretty well. Yeah.
And we need something in the great column. The great column was delightfully empty, and now we have something in there which is fantastic. Let's move on. Let's move on from the crunchy clusters, the Carmen's crunchy clusters. I cannot speak at all. This whole week it's been a problem for me. I cannot enunciate words properly. Maybe I'll have to start speaking at an accent to make sure that I'm enunciating all my words. Robert, we shall now move on to the next topic. Now I'm just being silly. Frosties.
We are moving on to Frosties.
Yes.
Hey, may I present Frosties for your judgment?
Ding, ding, ding.
I never ate a lot of Frosties. I can't comment. I've actually don't have this for whatever reason. The Frosties just never made it into the Pollard household. I can't actually. I don't think I've ever had a bowl of Frosties.
No, I'm putting it right next to Fruit Loops. And the reason being is because it's the same thing. I think that was a cereal that was too far even for the parents, because I remember one time, I think it was at my auntie's place, they pulled it out of the cupboard and you could literally see each individual flake covered in sugar. Like each flake was covered in sugar. That was the frost. And so I can see why it didn't make it into the household, because, who wants to feed their kids just straight sugar? Adrenaline in the veins directly from breakfast time.
Sadist.
Absolute sadist.
Yeah. You only give the kids Frosties when you're about to drop them into someone else's care.
Correct.
That's when you give them Frosties. It's like a revenge cereal. Right. It's like the grandparents gave them 2 bowls of ice cream last time and then brought them home. Well, Grandma, Grandpa, you're picking the kids up. Here you go.
It just turns to a game of sugar. It turns into a game of sugar one-upsmanship. It's like, you drop something with Frosties? Well, guess what? 3 bowls of ice cream and also a candy can. And here you go. Have your child back. Those dentist bills would be insane. Let's
one of the kids is just like burning maple syrup in a spoon or a lighter by the end of it. He's oh, what have we done?
Oh, Sultana brand, man. We're moving on to Sultana brand.
Yep. For me, personally, right up there.
Yeah. I am going to agree with you, my friend. I think out of all of the adult ones that we used to have as kids, Sultana brand was just like, mwah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Sultanas. I'm a huge fan of raisins. It was all brand done correctly.
It was. It really was. It's what all brand was missing. All it was some Sultanas, and it made a world of difference.
Oh, I bet they're kicking themselves. Oh, Sultanas. We just needed some Sultanas in there. We would have been. We made millions.
We made
millions.
They're in a concept meeting, and they're like, "How much brand should we go for this one?" I don't know. Let's just go all in. All brand? Yeah, all brand.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then their competitor is just like, fools. We've got this brand. We've got this brand. They've gone all brand. What are we going to do? I don't know. Chuck some Sultanas in there. Great idea. The thing about the Sultana brand was that it was a real lottery. Like you have to be a bit of a gambler to go the Sultana brand, because you buy a box, there could be 2 Sultanas in the whole box, or there could be 400. You just never knew. You never knew. They didn't have great Sultana distribution technology back in the 80s and 90s, did they? I think we've come a long way there.
No. They would have just chucked it like all in a vat and just kind of gone like, all right, let's see, lucky dip, go for it. Just open the door into the box. Open the door? Yeah, there's one person there just going, whoom. Open door. Closed door. Oh, shit, that was good. That was a good one, Ted. That was a good one, Ted. Let's even get to the top this time again.
Yeah, got the right consistency. Just doing it by feel.
Yeah, no, but
it's a Steph Curry of Sultana brand makers.
That's a lost art, doing things by feel, I find nowadays. Everything's so automated. Like you could, but no, but I'm the same as you, man. I am happy to put Sultana brand. And now, do we dare go straight to the tippy top?
For me personally, I actually would. I'd put it third in that key there because I'd probably this would be the one. If they said, Rob, you can only eat one cereal for the rest of your life, it would be Sultana brand because I know I can trust it a lot more. And I know that when I was a teenager, I went on a diet. I lost quite a bit of weight, and what the dietitian recommended was the Sultana brand, and it worked.
And only Sultana brand. So that's it. Every breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
That's all
Sultana
I ate for
brand.
7 years.
That's all. How'd you lose all this weight? Just malnutrition, mostly.
Yeah. So this would be the one I would pick, even though I'm probably putting it under the Crunchy Nut and under the Cocoa Pops right now. If I had to, I had a gun to my head, I'd go the Sultana brand.
No, I think I can only agree with you on that one, my friend. Milo cereal, that is next on the list. Have you ever had Milo cereal before?
Never had it. I think this is a new one.
So it's been around for a minute. I used to have it in high school, but it's just basically, it's just like, they're like chocolate cups. So they kind of hold the milk, which is quite a nice little novelty. But the little cups that they would have, I was talking before about the Carmen's clusters cutting your mouth up. I ain't got nothing on the rims of those little cups for the Milo. And taste wise, it wasn't no Cocoa Pops. So I'm going to make this nice and easy for the Milo and put it right in the middle in good. Taste, not Cocoa Pops. Okay. Definitely better than all brand. The novelty of the little cups was cool. Like you picked it up and then Fruit Loops and Frosty. That's right. Now, I was talking before about...
I was a big Milo fan.
Sorry, go on. You go.
I'm a big Milo fan. So even though I haven't had the Milo cereal, I'm a Milo kind of guy, and I'll give you that one. I'll give you the good.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I don't think they taste anything like Milo, which is also something that's a bit of a detriment. Like, I remember having them going, yeah, fuck yeah, Milo. And then I had the cereal. I was like, this isn't Milo. This is horrible. Yeah. We're going to skip this next one. Do you know why?
Why?
I say skip it. I'm not going to skip it. I'm putting it straight in the trash. Those are the wheat-only mini wheats. They made the list as well. So they are now in the trash.
They represent a childhood trauma. You've got a childhood trauma specific to those. So that's definitely trash.
Do you know what? In fact, that's going below all brand. That's how traumatizing.
Yeah, that's tricked out below. Yeah. Let's put those out of there.
Rob, did you ever have the Nesquik cereal?
No, never had Nesquik. And it's got to go below the Milo. I'm sorry.
Look, I'm just going to put this in not so good. Do you know why?
Why?
How could it be good? How could it be good? Like Nesquik itself is like if you got Milo and you got Nesquik, right? Those were the two we kind of went between. Maybe Ovaltine if you were so inclined. But if you had Milo and Nesquik, which were the two, like there's no even a competition. Like Milo is superior, Nesquik is down here.
Superior.
Therefore, ergo, the cereal must go below. Done. Here we go. Let's see if I can do the noise. No, it was terrible. Nutrigrain is next. It was more manly. That scream I just did. That was more like
I can't remember. But
Oh, any Australian kid or any Australian kid will remember that no, every kid would remember, or they won't remember the Nutrigrain music. For some reason, all I can think of is the Channel 7 sports. Like, that's all I can think of when I think of Nutrigrain, which is not the right song. But I think everyone who's grown up with Nutrigrain will know exactly what kind of scream I'm talking about.
We know what it is. For me, for some reason, the Nutrigrain commercial, the guy in the solo canoe just pouring solo all over him. You know how he drinks a can of solo when he's in the canoe. He's that one, and then I always put and I always think of the hard-earned first. There's a big cold, like needs a good what is it? Strong cold beer. Hard-earned first. And the best cold beer is Vic. Victorian
bitter.
Like those three ads are all in the same. Yeah, they're all just melded together in my brain, along with the gobbledock? Remember the Smiths?
The gobbledock, the gobbledock,
yeah. What a brilliant thing of early 90s advertisement that was. How incredible was that?
Oh, it was fantastic. They did it right back then. But so far, all we've talked about in Nutrigrain is its advertising. What did it taste like? Do we like it? Do we enjoy it?
I rate it. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's not. I'd put it in the good. I think this is a good one. I don't think it's no Sultana brand, but it's definitely above the cornflakes.
I would be so bold as to put it into great, and I think this is why, because I think with all the other cereals, you would be getting you kind of know what you're in for. You have zero idea what you're in for with Nutrigrain, not a clue. I think the first time you have it, you're like, do I like this? Is this good?
Yeah.
And then after a few bites, you start to realize, actually, this is actually pretty good. As a young man growing up in Australia, like you needed to have Nutrigrain to make yourself big and strong. That's what the adverts told us. That's what we had to do.
That's right.
If we wanted to be an Iron Man like David Campese, we had to eat Nutrigrain. That was the rules.
Trevor Hendy.
It's going in great. Trevor Hendy. Wow. Now we're going back.
Remember Trevor Hendy? I'll back it. Yeah, great's where it fits for me, but I'd put it above the Carmen's clusters personally.
Oh, yes, absolutely. That's a good shout. Absolutely. Above the Carmen's. Nutrigrain was great. It's great. Rice Bublés. Rice bubbles.
Well, they're basically Cocoa Pops without the chocolate milkshake.
Trash. I'm just kidding. They weren't trash. They were pretty good. Like
they were okay.
It was all about the gimmick. It was the gimmick. It was like you remember you pour your milk in, you put your ear down to the bowl, and you'd listen to them snap, crackle, and or pop.
Yeah, that's right. That was fun actually.
And then
great marketing.
And then you used to eat them and be disappointed because they were just
they'd be sludge.
Cocoa.
Bland sludge.
Yo, they were the most sludgiest of all the sludges after milk. That is true. Yeah. What flavor?
What flavor did they have? What flavor? Here's an idea. Cornflakes or rice bubbles are put in front of you. Which one do you eat?
Probably. Probably rice bubbles. Actually,
Nutrigrain. Really?
I think
I'd
so.
go to cornflakes any day of the week. But this is like a personality test.
That's it. Yeah, that's exactly right. And which one would you choose? Cornflakes or rice bubbles? I would choose rice bubbles.
What do these?
Mm-hmm. Oh dear, I understand.
What do these ink blots look like to you? That looks like a bowl of rice bubbles.
Is he here in the room with you right now? Oh no. No, I think rice bubbles is exactly where it needs to be, right next to cornflakes. I think there's nothing much more to say about that. They're pretty straightforward.
No.
Straightforward and like nothing to them. Rice and
cornflakes. Rice bubbles, cornflakes. Right. What else is there? What potatoes missed out there? You had cornflakes, rice bubbles. You need like potato discs. You know, like there was like a third one.
Potato gems.
For breakfast, potato gems.
Sure, why not? Big bowl of milk, some potato gems in there. Away you go.
Delicious.
All right, so I think there's 5 left, but I think we'll wrap this up. I'm going to go 2 more. And they're 2 classics. I'm going to finish. Finish with the one that I think is the most controversial over here. But we're going to go Special K. Thoughts on the Special K?
Decent. Yeah,
just like good in it.
Probably
they're
just good. They're just there in the middle. But I'd probably go. I'd take the Cocoa Pops No, I'd take the rice bubbles and the cornflakes over the Special K. Whatever, it never grabbed me.
No, I think it was a lot of it was marketed towards the ladies. The old Special
It
K.
was.
I remember the advertising. I love it was like,
Mhm.
this is just talking about advertising now. The advertising was like a lady with like stilettos on and a lovely stocking, and her
It
leg would
was.
kick out, and that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
the knee of the K.
That was with the K.
I remember that vividly. It was a formative advertisement for me, for young Liam, that Special K advert.
It was. No, but I know exactly what you mean. That's what I think about. When I think about Special K, that's what I think about. I think of like mature women eating cereal. Yeah. Like that's who
right.
it was for.
Wasn't our market, man, and that's okay.
I never really clicked. What a weird...
I'm going to skip over the Plus, whatever that is. I'm going to skip over the Cheerios because they're not American Cheerios.
The advertisements for Special K would be in the Women's Weekly. You know, that's where it would be. The Women's Weekly.
That's right.
Brought to you by Special K. That's what the world was like.
Well, it was very simple back then, wasn't it? It was just like, this is for you. This is for you. And never the two shall cross. If you're a man eating Special K, not in my 1994.
No, you've got the Nutrigrain scream for that. That was...
I'm a man. I'm a man. Oh, Nutrigrain. I'm a man. All right, here we go. We're going to wrap it up with this. We're going to skip the Plus. We're going to skip the Cheerios. We're going to skip the Bites, whatever they are. We're going to finish on this. The classic, the Aussie classic, the Weet-Bix. Aussie kids are Weet-Bix kids. Aussie kids are Weet-Bix kids. Yeah. All right. So where are we going with the Weet-Bix?
I would eat Weet-Bix growing up, but there's a caveat.
But okay,
and that caveat was extraordinary amounts of sugar. Extraordinary amounts of sugar, like literally like a whole layer of sugar. I would actually pour sugar on my Weet-Bix, and I would make sure every inch of the top of the Bix was covered in sugar. Like it was remarkable how much sugar I would have in my Weet-Bix. Remarkable.
Yeah,
it wasn't healthy for me at all.
No, which kind of defeats the purpose of the Weet-Bix. They're meant to be a healthy option for your breakfast.
Pretty much.
Now,
how did I get away with that?
Well, I mean, sometimes some people think you've got to do something to Weet-Bix to make it decent, and yours was copious amounts of sugar. 14 teaspoons.
Yeah.
Please. Now, there was one thing they used to teach you in school, and it was how to tell the way the directions went. It was never eat soggy Weet-Bix, and that used to really piss me off. Do you know why? I fucking love soggy Weet-Bix. Give it to me. I love it. So I wasn't the sugar. I usually went for the honey and banana. Let it sit for like a minute, and then I used to mash that shit together. Oh,
hot milk.
I used to love it. But if we're going to do it on I don't think I ever. No, hot milk was never a thing I enjoyed. I don't think I remember like hot milk. Hot milk, no. I did not do that.
That combination of the honey and the banana and the hot milk, delicious. So you've won me over. I agree. I think there's a real. That's you did it right, Liam. You did it well. You did it right.
And there's a lot of people going, soggy Weet-Bix, you absolute disgusting man. But I reckon that's probably the biggest divide in Australian cereal is it soggy? Is it not soggy? Do you know what I really don't get? I do not abide with this at all. And that's people who just eat it with no other moisture, no milk, no nothing. I've seen people get those things out of the packet and stick it in their mouth. How much saliva do you produce, my friend? It's not possible to eat a Weet-Bix with no other liquid. It is just not. And no one can tell me they enjoy that stuff. Get out of here with that. Oppressed as a child, my God.
Yeah, you'll never produce saliva again. Even if you did produce saliva at one point, if you've eaten a raw Weet-Bix, like it's just sucked so much of the moisture out of your mouth. Like it's like 6 months before. It's like a desert, Like it's just takes a long
You
time
just
to
open your mouth
regrow after
and it
that.
just evaporates before it gets in. It's like a fucking...
Yeah.
pass me my weed.
As it comes closer to the mouth, you see like a steam come out of the mouth, like it's actually sucking the moisture out of your body just as it gets closer, 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 closer. You eat one wheat bix, so you got to lie down for about 4 days afterwards. He's in hospital. He's on the drip. Get a drip into him. What has he done? He's eating a wheat bix, doctor. My God. Get 2 drips.
Soggy with milk? No, with nothing. I'm not sure he's going to make it. Someone call the family. Okay, but before we rank it, before we put it into its spot and we wrap this bad boy up, we have to judge Weet-Bix on its merits, which is what it is by itself. Now, I actually did not mind Weet-Bix by itself. I actually quite enjoyed Weet-Bix by itself with the previous caveat of a little soggy. I think it had like a nice taste to it. It wasn't just wheat. It had a nice little taste to it. What say you?
Yeah, look, I think it's not bad. I think it's not bad.
So even without a copious amounts of sugar?
Yeah, as an adult, like I wouldn't do that now. I would not put the copious amounts of sugar. But I tell you what, if I was to be given all of these cereals, like I would probably, the Weet-Bix is possibly one I would go for. Maybe not the first one I'd go for, but it would be one I would go for at some point. I think it's like it's just like a sturdy job. It just does a sturdy job. Yeah. It's not a superstar. It's just in there. It's just like just lifting, it's carrying a lot of weight, the Weet-Bix. A whole generation.
Well, then, because what you've said, said that it's doing a sturdy job, holding things up, but that's all it does. It's just a sturdy job. That to me kind of screams good in a way.
Yeah. Look. Yeah. There's a certain sentimental part
it needs
of
help. It needs help.
Cultural.
It needs help. Yeah,
it needs help. It does need help. It's good. It's only good. It's at the top of the good, but it's good.
Well, there we go. A comprehensive tier list of the Aussie cereals. I think that was a bit of fun. Let's run through them real quick from top to bottom. So in the trash, we have the All Bran and the Only Wheat mini wheats, which are by far the worst thing in the world. So if you enjoy those, I'd love to hear in the comments. Please let me know so we can have this debate in the comments. Not so good tier. We've got all the sugar in the world. Frosties, Fruit Loops, and Nesquik, which neither of us have had, but we put it there because it made sense. The good tier, starting low with Milo, Special K, Rice Bubbles, Corn Flakes, the better mini wheats with the jam, and our old Aussie classic, the Weet-Bix. Our great tier, Carmen's Clusters, and the Nutri-Grain, and of course, our goat tier, the best of the best, the only cereals you should ever have in your cupboard at any stage all year round. You got your Sultana brand.
Pretty much.
You got your Crunchy Nut Corn Flakes. And our number one for tonight is the Cocoa Pops. Rob, I think that was a bit of fun, hey? We got a comprehensive list going.
Enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah. Your voice definitely sells that fact, yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. No, I actually really did. Like that was actually really good. That was just like you threw to me, and I just gave you the Weet-Bix of like feedback. I was like, yeah, thoroughly good.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, that was good. I think next time it's just us two. Next time it's just us two, I reckon we fire up another. Hopefully we can spin the wheel and get another one of these tier lists. If it's just us two again, we'll fire up another one. I know there are some that have like 200 options to choose from. Obviously, we're not going to be doing that. But let us know if you liked it. Chuck in the comments down below. We might do some more. Who knows? But Mr. Rob, we got to wrap this bad boy up. Any final thoughts from yourself as I remove the share? I'll bring us back. Here we go. 1 second. Stop screen.
Final thought.
Here we go. Just us again. Yeah, go
on. Well, I guess I don't really have much to say other than when you look back on life, Lamb, childhood, there's so many people, I think.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the peak. It's when we peak. It's when we peak. It's when we're kids.
Yeah.
Not all of us, but many of us. Some of us fortunate ones. I feel like I really peaked in childhood. Had a fantastic childhood. Lots of great friends to play with. Lots of great cartoons to watch and things to do. No smartphones, no iPads. Out on my bike, exploring the suburbs. Just adventurous. Alive during the release of great films and TV shows. But a highlight, perhaps the thing that really topped it off, was the cereal. I am fortunate. The baby boomer generation, they were born and they matured with the housing market. I'm almost as fortunate as they are because I was born and matured with the rise of the cereal. And even though I don't have a great property portfolio to back it up, what I do have is an extraordinary rank of cereals and memories. And I'll cherish that. I'll cherish that as I'm dying and falling apart in my single bedroom unit.
Oh, man. Amazing. An episode about cereals, and you still got it in. You still got a little cheeky dig. It's great. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye. Well, goodbye, Rob. Say goodbye.
See you later.